going to work on that. Welcome to the Institute of Jewish Knowledge and Learning. We are with Rabbi Akiva Mann, a little bit of liturgy for the High Holy Days, a awakened consciousness. Take it away, Rabbi. But you need to unmute our dear Rebbe.
I thought I did. I'm sorry. Okay, thanks, Kim. And good morning, everyone. I forgot to mention when we were together yesterday to make everyone aware and wish everyone a happy and joyous Rosh Chodesh Elul. Yesterday was Rosh Chodesh. I want to put out a special happy and joyous Rosh Chodesh to Miriam, because Rosh Chodesh, Miriam from Arkansas, Rosh Chodesh is a very special, Rosh Chodesh Elul is a very special day for her. And I'll be giving you a call later on, Miriam. Okay. In days gone by, and even today, as soon as Rosh Chodesh Elul appeared on the calendar, there was this invisible consciousness, this awareness of it's coming. And Rosh Chodesh Elul was really on many levels was the initiation of a sort of preparation, was a kind of countdown like we do on Sphera Chart, a countdown to Mount Sinai. And Rosh Chodesh Elul was like really embedded in Jewish consciousness, that Rosh Chodesh Elul was really the preparatory stages and initiation for a different type of a different lens that we put on in viewing our lives, culminating in the Rosh Hashana, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot transformation ladder. And it's really a beautiful journey if you hitch a ride, you know, if we do our own work from Rosh Chodesh till the end of Sukkot, that is really a time for that we can use, and after we are finished, applaud ourselves in some really good, deep inner work. It's an opportunity. And of course, Rosh Hashana, we begin. And I think this is an essential thing to understand. We begin with Rosh Hashana, and we end this journey with Sukkot and Simchat Torah. And if you compare the two, Rosh Hashanah actually taka is a time, there's a certain semblance of heaviness to Rosh Hashanah, and there's a certain sense of lightness and joyousness of how we end. And I don't think that's a coincidence, because I do feel that the high holy days actually, and when we refer to the high holy days, we start with Rosh Hashana, and we are referring to the end of the holy days of Sukkot. So we begin serious and we end with Simchat Torah, with joy and celebration and ecstasy. I think there's a reason for it. There's a reason why we start in a serious mode. There's some serious business to take care of before we reach a semblance of any state of joy. There has to be some serious stuff going on to clear the path for joy to enter. Joy that enters like automatically is considered in Jewish mystical thought as frivolous. Even our joy has to begin and have a certain tinge of seriousness. So on Rosh Hashanah, which traditionally is called, Rosh Hashanah has a few names, friends. One is Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, the new year. In the Torah, Rosh Hashanah is called Yom HaZikaron, or Yom HaZikaron, the Day of Remembrance. I think we're going to concentrate on that next week. And it is also referred to in the Torah as Yom Teruah, the day of Teruah, of the blast of the shofar. And it's also referred to in Jewish tradition as Yom Hadin, the day of judgment. Before we get into a beautiful piece of liturgy that I chose for us today to kind of immerse ourselves in, I want to talk a little bit about Yom Hadin and what Yom Hadin ought to mean to us. Yom Hadin is usually translated as the Day of Judgment, Day of Judgment. And I was thinking about that word, judgment. Or just judgment or justice. And I want us to think about this and a little bit of your reaction, because I think we should be getting into this on a very experiential level, on a very personal level. If we don't make Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur, the high holy days, personal, then I don't know what we're doing. So it's kedai. It's worthwhile for us to speak about it on a very personal and deep level. Friends, have you ever in your lifetime, have you ever been screwed by somebody Have you ever had an experience when you have been either unfairly treated, or something occurred in your, let's say, your professional life where you got hammered by somebody or by a few people that ganged up on you illegitimately, unjustifiably, and you really got attacked, and you were feeling how unjustified this thing coming to me is, how I wish that I would be able to receive justice for the attack or the illegitimate thing that I was vulnerable to. Have you ever looked at, that's on a personal level, have you ever looked at the world and say to yourself, I am just a singular individual who doesn't have too much power. But if I had my druthers, if some of my fantasies were able to be miraculously or supernaturally imposed on this leader or on that leader, I would, if I had my little genie and I was able to exercise justice for this country or for this community, I would. I have this yearning for judgment, for judgment based in truth. Have you ever felt that need on a personal level? If you were ever in a position of abuse and people ganging up on you, or an individual ganging up on you, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, any form of abuse, and you find yourself, we're seeing it, you know, like all around us on TV, in the news, people in situations that are screaming for justice, and somehow the system, or it either takes so long to get justice, or the system is so convoluted that it takes $1 million and 1,000,000 years to get abyssal of justice in this world. Or did you ever look at some of our, without mentioning names, maybe I should mention names, but I don't have to, some of our political leaders that are talking stupidities, and you are feeling this idea that people are getting away with murder here, and where is the din? Where is justice? Where is judgment? So, friends, I bring that up because I'm sure you all harbor that type of yearning for truth. And if you do, which I'm sure you do, then judgment, Yom Hadin, the day of judgment, turns into a most beautiful, most necessary, most fundamental type of day. It is not a scary day, and it is not a depressing kind of day. When justice finds its proper place within our lives and within the life of our community and society, when justice prevails, that's a happy day. Happy days are here again. When we see din, justice, prevailing in our lives and within our society. That is a cause for simcha. That is the beginning of joy, is when law and order and justice and tzedek, righteousness, umishpat, and proper truthful judgment, when that is in place, that is a Yom Tov. That's why we call Rosh Hashana Yom Hadin, the day of judgment, but nevertheless, it is a Yom Tov. It's a happy, holy day. And I would go one step further. We can very easily be able to proclaim that, yes, it would be lovely if within our society that justice is prevailing in all arenas, in all corners of our society. Justice is alive and well. Everyone, I think, would admit that would be a gift. How about if we really individualize and personalize it? You know, everyone says, I stay away from judging people. I try not to judge people. And for a few reasons, that's a very good idea. That's a very good idea. But friends, you know, the idea of not judging other people has absolutely nothing to do with not desiring and not needing ourselves to be judged. I think we all, as we would like our society to be judged vis-a-vis the scales of justice, I think Jewish tradition on Rosh Hashana introduces the idea that we, every single one of us, need to be to go through a certain gauntlet of judgment once a year. You know what the problem with that is? Like, don't I think every soul searching, mature, spiritually minded person welcomes this idea wanting, needing, desiring to be judged, because judgment is a good thing. Judgment is very closely associated with finding out the truth. And we all should be wanting to find out the truth about ourselves on a deeper, deeper, deeper level as years go by. It might be a difficult process, but I think for spiritual seekers, for mature people, individuals who cherish growth and development, and who want to ascend the Sulam Ha'aliyah, who want to ascend to a higher place of enlightenment, I think judging ourselves, having ourselves being judged, is an absolutely fundamental idea in the growth of an individual. You know what the problem is? I think most of you would agree to that is a fantastic way to grow. That's a catalyst through which we grow. You know what the problem is? We don't trust any of the judges. We have a shortage of judges that we trust. All the judges around us, maybe they have a bias. They're not so mature themselves. They're not so clear themselves. If I had a perfect judge that would be able to see through me and see through me clearly and point out certain things, certain tendencies, certain propensities that I harbor, that I engage in, that are just need a little tweaking, need a little clarity in. If I would have a perfect judge, the perfect shrink, the perfect doctor, who has no agendas but to help me, assist me, and heal me, I think we would be so ready to have judgment laid upon us because we want to grow. And therefore, Yom Hadin, the day of judgment, I want us to, do a 180, that Yom Hadin is the day of judgment, and to engage ourselves in judging ourselves and finding maybe that perfect friend that can sit down friend to friend and say, hey, let's have a little discussion about me, and let's have a discussion about you. And let us in the softest, most gentle way, try to tweak out some new discoveries about ourselves, and to dig deeper into our subterranean consciousnesses, and bring out some stuff that needs to surface. I think that's what the High Holy Days is all about. And the poem, with that in mind, the poetic, in Hebrew it's called piyut, a poem. They are a series of poems that were created over a period of a good 200 or 300 years in the medieval ages, that appear in every machzor that is dedicated for our Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur liturgy. And I found a piyut that is quite, you know, for those that do the machzor from beginning to end, it's quite a well-known poem. It's a beautiful poem, but it caught my eye to present to you today because it speaks of divinity as my own personal judge, the perfect judge, the most gentle God as judging me, and me sitting down with my God and being judged and growing from that and blossoming from that interchange. And who could get the assumption behind the poem is, who can get a better judge, a most truthful judge, a most gentle judge, a most merciful judge than God? If you want anyone to judge you, wouldn't it be God? So this piyut it goes through the alphabet and goes through 22 attributes of divinity. You know, the Sphera chart has 10 attributes. These are going to be 22, going from Aleph to Taf, 22 attributes of not only my personal divine judge, but also the judge of the universe. The judge of the universe, where judgment, tzedek, and mishpat are built into the fabric of the universe. And sometimes when things don't go right in the universe, and when leaders and politicians are talking malicious, stupid things, there is this idea that the cosmos themselves are wanting this leader, this guy, to shut up, and retribution to come to those that are interfering with the harmony and the truth that abides in this universe. There is this idea of cosmic truth and a God, and this is the God we celebrate on Rosh Hashana, the God that weighs on the scale of righteousness and justice, that weighs the ways and actions of the world. There is this cosmic voice that is calling out on Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur, and asking through the blasts of the shofar, so where is the justice? Where is the righteousness in this world? The sound of the shofar, I think, on one level, is one big is a question mark for us. So where is the justice? What are we doing about increasing righteousness in in our inner circles, in our outer circles. So friends, justice begins the journey towards joy. I don't think we reach the place of joy without first addressing what is true in this world, what is true to me in my world, and what is false in my world, what is unacceptable in my world. And it's only from that place of justice that we are ever going to get to a place of joy. Okay, so friends, quickly, any comment on that so far before I'm going to ask him to put the poem up?
Okay, I'm going to go for it.
Okay.
Are you pleased, Rebbe? What do you need?
Kim, there is a page before this.
Oh.
That's it. That's it.
May I say something, Kimmy?
Oh, go ahead. I don't,
Okay.
yeah. So sorry.
Let me put myself in vision so that's not start video. Hi.
You're
When I
almost.
start video, it won't allow me to start my video, so I have to sign in a different way. Anyway, it's Donna. I wanted to just comment, Rabbi, on what you had said. With what better judge to have than God to judge us. And I think for me, there needs to be an understanding of how that happens. I mean, if we don't have a personal relationship with God, then God is just merely a judge, merely, quote unquote, a judge. And I think that, you know, in our interpersonal relationship with God, God is not only a judge, but a friend and a confidant and all of the wonderful adjectives that we would place upon it. And God is someone that we can go to ask, A, for forgiveness, but B, how can I be better? How could I do this life to be more pleasing to you in your sight, oh Lord? So I think that it could be that what I'm hearing you say could just be words. And at the other side of that spectrum, it is a truism. As we go to our friends and ask, you know, how could I have done this better? How can I improve? What do you see in me? We can be silent and ask God for that advice and input as well, if we're open to hearing.
Absolutely. I think, Donna, it's all of the above. It's all of the above. When we are going through this, it's really a personal cleansing journey. It is a process of getting rid of the toxins that invade our minds, that invade our souls and our emotional beings. It's a cleaning up of those toxins and a refreshing and a renewal of our souls. The High Holy Days is going through one big mental, spiritual, and emotional mikveh. It is one big process of cleaning up, of cleansing, and we are relying. I think when we are going to be speaking about the the 22 attributes of God, of the divine power that we are able to connect with. I think within these 22 attributes, I think friends are in there, teachers and rebbes are in there, mentors are in there, parents are in there, right? I think these attributes extend from the divine, the perfect judge that we can possibly sit down with and interact. But these attributes are available in the form of many others, of friends, of teachers, so we are looking we are looking for these attributes to clarify what kind of mishpat, what kind of judgment we would like for ourselves, and therefore how it forms actually our judgment for between ourselves and others. So at any given time, friends, if you have a question or something sparks your interest, please stop me. I'll tell you, we're going to do it in the English. The Hebrew is poetic Hebrew, and it's quite intricate and poetic. But let me explain something to you right from the beginning. This is one of these poems that is called a responsive poem. By responsive poem, I mean that the first line is pronounced by the chazan, by the leader, who grasps in hand the attribute of justice, and then in response to that divine attribute that is announced to the congregation responds back to the chazan, to the leader. All believe that the congregation is talking about themselves, about the group. This is the response to the first sentence. All believe that he is the God of faithfulness. So the first letter of the alphabet is going to be the proclamation of the divine attribute, and the second letter, the doubled letter is going to be the response to the first one. So if you look on the left-hand side of the page, the first bet is going to be the attribute, the divine attribute, who probes and examines hidden archives. That means hidden archives of the heart, by the way. And we respond, all believe that he probes thoughts. It's always going to be a response that is closely related to the attribute that was just announced. This actually would be so much fun in person, that we would give everyone a chance to be a chazan, and then we answer back as a congregation, all believe that. that would be nice and powerful. But I don't think it's happening over Zoom, right, Kim?
Well, you could have one person read back to you if you were going through, but if there's discussion as with each pair, then it can't be done that way.
Right. Okay. So friends, I'll just do it. It might get a little logistically too complicated, but please, I ask you to interrupt and to unmute yourselves as soon as you find something, you know, of interest or of insight. So again, these are 22 attributes that we welcome into our lives by the divine judge who executes truth and justice. Ha'ochez biyad midat mishpat, who grasps in hand the attribute of justice. And everyone, you can do this in your room together as a response. All believe that he is the God of faithfulness. Second attribute, who probes and examines hidden archives. And everyone answers, all believe that he probes thoughts.
Rabbi, excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to chirp in right away. Does that mean that he goes within all of our abilities to think?
Absolutely. We're gonna have a few like that. In other words, that's a good one, Shabri, that's a good one. What we are trying to do here is we ourselves want to come to a place of purity of thought, purity of what we hold to be true. We are yearning ourselves for a clarified sense of justice. So we, through evoking these attributes of divine judgment and divine deep thinking, what we are subliminally doing is we are getting ourselves to dig deeper into our own thought processes. When we call upon the God who probes thoughts, I'm not waiting for God to probe my thoughts. I don't have to have God probing my thoughts. God does what God wants. When I am talking about God probing my thoughts, that brings me to a point of probing my own thoughts. It brings me to an imagination that my thoughts need probing, you know? Gimel, who redeems from death and delivers from Gehenna. I'm not even going to touch that Gehenna. I would love to, but we don't have time. Who redeems from death and delivers from Gehenna. And everyone responds, all believe that he is the strong deliverer. Daled. Fourth attribute, who is the sole judge of all who walk the world. And everyone responds, all believe that he is the true judge. Dayan Emet. Fifth attribute, whose name is expressed as I will be as I will be. That is the divinity, and that is the fifth attribute. Of Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. We are invoking God's name, one of God's names, as Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. And I wonder why the author of the poem chose Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. Out of all of the other choices of names that he could have chose, I wonder why Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. Kim, can we put that question on hold? And if we have time, I don't want to not finish this, but can you remind me that why Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh specifically was chosen?
Will do, Rebela.
Okay, thank you. Whose name is expressed as I will be as I will be, and everyone else responds to that attribute. All believe that he was, he is, and he will be. Six, Vav, whose name is certainty. Such is his praise. And everyone responds, all believe that there is none but he. 7, who recalls favorable memories of those who remember him. And everyone responds, all believe that he remembers the covenant. Everything in that one is about zocher, about zechira. Eight, who apportions life for all living. And everyone responds, all believe that he is living and everlasting. The one who is living and everlasting is the one that we call source. Tet, 9, ninth attribute, who is good and benefits the wicked and the good. And everyone responds, all believe that he is good to all. So you have to, I think it's quite obvious. It doesn't mean that the poet is saying here that God rewards wicked, but rather that goodness can also come to the way of the wicked. In other words, the world works in such a way that those that are evil and wicked and doing harm to the earth are still somehow benefiting benefiting from the goodness that abounds in this world. Yud, who knows the inclination of all creatures, and we respond, all believe that he has fashioned them from the womb. That's such a tender, motherly type of that there is a knowing, of a bina. There is a bina. There's this deep understanding, this deep discernment that only mothers know, because only mothers from which the baby comes from their wombs kind of is connected in a very special way. So we the poet is here talking about a deep understanding of all created beings, because here we are calling divinity the womb of the earth is the womb of existence. Chaf, who can do everything and combines all together. And we respond, all believe that he can do everything. Who lodges in concealment, in shadow, the Almighty. And we respond to the awareness of divine concealment. All believe that he is the solitary one, despite divine concealment.
Rabbi Akiva?
Yes.
When you may want, maybe your plan is to do it at the end, but do you have any comment about how they're paired, the pattern of the pairing, or the idea that's being presented?
Get a pair. They are paired, obviously, but what do you mean? You mean from the first attribute to the response?
From each attribute to the next, to the answer, so it's the way he's answering it, all believe. And then is he going deeper into what the cantor is saying with how we respond, or is it being turned, or maybe
Kim, it's a good question, but I would leave, I really, they most definitely have to do with one another.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, the first mem and the second mem, they are. It would take us to juxtapose exactly what the first line was saying and how the second line, which is our response, how that kind of changes, or how it
Maybe I can put it, maybe I'll ask Deborah to put it in the morning report. And if we want to, as a meditation, each of us privately work on one each day during Elul.
That could be an excellent idea, or to choose for yourselves, 2 or 3 favorite ones that you resonate with. Great. Nun, who guides every generation in his kindness. Friends, this is all very, it's all
No,
very.
the one before, Rabbi, you forgot one.
It's Mem, sorry. Who gives sovereignty to kings, but retains kingship. Who, in other words, who gives away power, and loves to delegate. And we respond, all believe that he is the eternal king. Nun, who guides every generation with his kindness. And we respond, all believe that he preserves kindness. Samach, who is patient and averts his eye from rebels. Now we're getting a little anthropomorphic here. And we all respond, all believe that he forgives. Selah. Selah is another word like for that's it, or what I often use as mamish. Selah is the Hebrew exclamation mark. All believe that he forgives. Ayin, who is supreme and attends to those who fear him. And we all respond, all believe that he responds to prayer. Pei, who opens a gate to those who knock in repentance. And we respond, all believe that his hand is open. The mystics very often talk about petucha yado, that divinity anthropomorphically has an open hand, an open door policy, and is the divine one who hears our pleas and who hears the knock, our knock on the door for a little inspiration to get through. Tzadi, who awaits the wicked and desires his vindication. And we all respond, all believe that he is righteous and upright. Righteous and upright. In Hebrew, tzaddik, righteous, and upright, v'yashar. Kuf, who is brief in anger. Now we're getting very anthropomorphic. Who is brief in anger and who is patient. Of course, there is no anger and there is no patience, but we relate to divinity through our vehicles of operation, and we know what anger is, and we know what it means to be patient, and we can't express it any other way than in human form. So when we want to speak of a loving, open-hearted, the divine essence of chesed, of love, of a divinity that encompasses love, we fall into anthropomorphic ideas that God is slow to anger, because that's the only way we actually can understand it. But we can transcend that too. Next, who is merciful and performs mercy, and who prefers mercy to wrath. Who prefers mercy to wrath, and we all respond, all believe that he is easy to appease. So we have to ask ourselves, friends, if we are addressing a God whose attribute is easy, he is easy to appease, what does that conjure up in our mind? If I would like to be speaking, to be intercoursing, to be in front of a God, divine judge, who has a gentleness about it, that we can say that we are addressing a God that is easy to appease, that our God is not a hard-headed God, not a stubborn God, but easy to appease. That automatically conjures up the question in our minds, I hope, are we easy? If we want a judge that is easy to appease and that is slow to anger, the question automatically comes up, are we that way? Am I a person who is easy to appease? Am I a person who is slow to anger? Right? If I prefer that kind of, to be in front of that kind of judge, then the question automatically comes up, am I such a person? Do I own that attribute?
So Rabbi, I was thinking about the idea of if somebody heard something like that, maybe me, taking advantage of God because he's, easy to appease, instead of doing the work, becoming, I forgot the word that I want, to appease God.
Emulating those attributes.
Yeah, so you have to be really careful what's first in my mind. I have to be careful what's first in my mind rather than appeasing God.
Absolutely. I think all of these attributes that we are attributing to God, all of the, especially when they are in anthropomorphic form, I think we ought, just mentioning these attributes, we have to reapply them to ourselves. If we are asking and we are in front, we imagine being in front of a very gentle and kind and slow to anger kind of divinity, then we really ought to ask ourselves, am I emulating these attributes?
Rabbi, I'm sorry to interject. There's one word in all of this that I don't remember how it's being used. And it's a word that has always bothered me, but I know you mentioned that it's not the way I'm looking at it. How is the word fear used? What is the meaning here?
Awe.
Okay, thanks.
Reverence.
Reverently. Thank you.
Reverence. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, friends, let's finish this off. Sheen, are we on the next? Yes. Sheen, who is unchanging and treats small and great alike. And we all respond, all believe that he is a righteous judge. Let me explain this for a second. How is it possible that we are saying here that divinity treats small and great alike? That actually doesn't seem fair. Why should the small be treated, if there is if there is anything like that? And maybe it's not worth to get into. Do you feel that there's a question in there? How can there be a justification for treating the small and great alike?
I believe there is a justification, because I was thinking about the Black people as opposed to, we say white is better. And yet God doesn't treat the small that differently than the great. You can't even put a label on it, actually, small or great.
So the question, Shabri, you're saying you're equating small and great to white and black, which is not necessarily being said here. The question that I'm trying to ask is what exactly does the poet mean? What is he referring to when he is talking about small and great? Sorry?
Sorry, Rabbi, but it doesn't matter if you're small or you're great. If you're made in God's image and you're all part of the being of God, it doesn't matter. It's just the way the ball bounces, kind of. It's like, it doesn't matter whether you're small or great. You're still of equal worth.
Rabbi?
The small are great. And the
Yeah,
great
like
are small.
How about
no?
how about if the great is referring to a tzaddik and the small is referring to an evil person, small in action, small in good deeds and great in good deeds? That's what my first impression is.
What if
but it doesn't matter.
What if it's discussing the importance of the matter at hand? There are small matters and important matters, but they're all given the same shrift by the Lord.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. The question is, what was the poet thinking when he was, what is he referring to when he's talking about small and great? So I like that.
I think that it's Sandy. I think that it's talking about who is unchanging. All of us are changing. All of us, no matter how small, have the potential of rising up, of raising ourselves, educating ourselves. And the great, well, we have a potential to do wrong also. So it's the potential that we have been given to make choices, and sometimes small people rise up and great people go down. I've seen it in my lifetime.
You know, Sandy, what it reminds me of is one of the interpreters of this says small. What is small? What is the poet referring to? Small and great. When he talks about small and great, the commentary says we are talking here about when God does not make a difference between small and great. It is referring to intent of doing good and actually accomplishing the good. Small is referring to someone who wants to do good, but for whatever reason, for whatever circumstantial reason, is unable to actually accomplish the mitzvah, the good. And the great is referring to someone who is trying to do something good and actually accomplishes it. And the commentary is saying that is what the poet is referring to. Small means when my intent is spot on, and all my kavana was focused to do good, but for some reason, for some external reason, I couldn't actually accomplish it. This is the God that does not make a difference between intent and actual accomplishment. And friends, let's end it off. This is a real tongue twister, but it in the Hebrew, it all comes from one word, hatam umetamam im temimim, who is perfect and deals perfectly with wholesome ones. And everyone responds, all believe that his work is perfect.
Rabbi, I had my hand up, but I wasn't acknowledged, so I'm interrupting.
Okay.
If God is the creator of all that is, and God created good and very good in human beings, and after the creation, God acknowledged that we are very good. So if in the eyes of God, God sees from beginning to end and knows who we truly are, it is we that do not know who we truly are, that God knows that it's a journey that we're going on, and God would know that wherever we are within our journey, that the end result is good because God created us. So I think that so many of the judgments that we're arguing and talking about small and great alike, and we all have a different meaning of what's small and great alike, but perhaps in the eyes of God, there is no difference between small and great. If we're all created in the image and likeness of He who created us, then we are all on a journey toward that which was intended.
But Donna, there is one crucial element in that very correct and profound analysis that is missing.
Please share.
And that is, yes, it is true that divinity and infinity has a knowledge of how I am going to turn out and how I ultimately am going to be embraced by by divinity one way or another. But you know what is missing from that? Your knowledge.
Free will.
Your self-knowledge. You are placing the, oh, it's all going to end up in divinity. But the point is that we in our lifetime, that we within our own consciousness and even the impossible places to within our consciousness to actually know that God's knowledge is not going to bring the satisfaction that self-knowledge will bring. And self-knowledge and self-acknowledgement is our task. So it doesn't really, it's practically irrelevant that God knows. I have to know. And if I still yet do not know to the deepest depths of my capabilities, then I am left not knowing.
And I hear you. I don't necessarily agree, because the statement says, who is unchanging and treats small and great alike? I'll turn it back to what you said earlier, that I need to know that I should treat small and great alike, that to give credit to the 5-year-old child who draws a picture, the intention was love to give me a picture. And then somebody who becomes a good president of the United States. So that's great, but the judgment should be the same, because that's how God judges. God judges small and great alike. Therefore, I should judge small and great alike.
Yes, and if that knowledge is there, then everything is good.
Right.
Then
And that's what
if
God said.
if that self-knowledge is there, then that is good. If the self-knowledge is not there and I am relying on God's knowledge, that's not good.
Yeah, I was just saying that's why God treats everything the same, because but I agree with you on all counts. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, anyone else?
Yes, yes, Rabbi. Rabbi, I was thinking about my intention. In my lifetime, what is my intention? Why am I living? What is my intention? And if my intention is to be that perfect one that God wanted me to be or created me as, it's my intention that's so important. To learn what it is to my intention.
Absolutely. I think we don't give enough credit to our intention. Sometimes it's there's a great gap between our intention and our accomplishments or the final result, and that gap has to be bridged. There should not be a tremendous gap between our intention and our actions, right? Or else our lives are chaotic and they are just out of whack. But sometimes there is a small crack. Sometimes there are circumstances where our intentions are correct and right on and focused, but some external happenstance occurs that we are not able to hammer it into perfect harmony, our intentions and our accomplishments. So we have to, in those cases, we have to rely, and we have to find absolute strength in our intentions. Kavanah is where is the fuel through which our lives become fulfilled. It all starts with the focus of our intentions. And one of the purposes and great channeling powers of the High Holy Days is that we actually start a month before Rosh Hashana to start assisting in that process of alignment. We would say that the month of Elul is we are having just like an alignment on our car, right? If our alignment is off, then wherever we are driving, we are driving like not straight. So the whole month of Elul is about tweaking kavanah, about getting our intent aligned. So we are walking in the right direction. The month of Elul is really tweaking our spiritual GPS and finding out where we want to go and what the route and direction is going to be. It's thinking, Shabri and everyone else, it's thinking about these things in preparation for the Yom Hadin, for the day Yom Hadin, the day in which we are going to be judging ourselves. And we won't get away with judging ourselves with a clear conscience unless we put some work into it. It can't be done on the 2 days of Rosh Hashana. It just can't.
6-minute warning. We do need to stop on time because Sandra's back on the schedule for 12:30.
Okay, I have nothing else.
I just, then what touched me so much was, because I'm arguing with, do I really believe that God is all that? But when you said these can be the attributes that we are aspiring to for ourselves.
Absolutely.
It resonated, and like, yeah, I really hope and I believe,
Yes, I believe because I asked myself that same question. I go through the v'chol ma'aminim, and we all believe such. So number one, I saw them as attributes of divinity, and if we look at them on a theological level, they are all theologically, yes, God knows the inner thoughts of what's going on. That means that we also ought to know our inner thoughts as God. I'm not relying on God to know my thoughts. What do I care if God knows my thoughts? I have to know my thoughts as well as I want and think God does, because God's knowledge of my thoughts is irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant. What do I care?
You care.
I care if I know my thoughts the way I think God knows my thoughts. I want to know my thoughts. Bochein levavot, who goes in, who searches out the heart of mankind, I need to do that. If God is doing it, I need to emulate those divine, all of those 22 divine attributes within myself. That turns out to be the avodah of Rosh Hashana.
Mike has 3 minutes to speak and for you to respond.
Okay, thank you. I'll be real quick. Just, Rabbi, want to jump back to your question earlier about I will be as I will be. And the thought that came to me is just to change the last word to make it I will be as I am. As I am now is what I will become. And if my intention is to fulfill being the attributes or as closely as we can to the ones we're ascribing to God, and we bring that into the present, then we will become that into the future. So just a thought, kind of pass by of I will be as I will be, but starting where we are right now with that proper intention.
Very, very nice. Very nice. But I'll thank you for reminding me, by the way, that we ought to do that. The commentaries say like this. I think, correct me if I think similar to what you are saying, Mike. I will be as I will be sounds on the surface like future tense, correct? I will be as I will be. It sounds like future tense, correct? And the
Yes.
the commentators say, actually, no. Actually, no. It is not, it sounds ostensibly like future tense, but it is not meant to be understood in future tense. They say, I will be as I will be. This is how they translate that, how they interpret that. I am and remain present, not merely sometime and somewhere, but in every now and here. I will be as I will be is not meant to be later on sometime. I will be, I will take you to the store at some futuristic time. I will be as I will be means I will be now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In the I will be here in the near and how, as I will always be in the here and now. It is not a futuristic kind of terminology. It is most bringing divinity down into the here and now.
Yes.
I am with you. So I think, Mike, you were saying that originally also, right?
Yeah, I was saying that, certainly agree that the now keeps transferring in each moment. The change and evolution keeps going on and on and on in the present moment. And the intention to become something goes with that evolutionary change in personality and actions and attributes. Yes. So if we have the intention to have a loving attribute as God has, then gradually maybe we shift more and closer into that, but constantly being in God's presence in each moment as it's moving along from the past to the future, which never happens because it's always now.
Spot on. Right on. Right on, Mike. Thank you for ending on such a high note.
Thank you.
Okay, Kimala.
Thank you, Rabbi Akiva. We all have a lot to chew on.
Just a little taste, a little exposure to some of this stuff. I just hope brings a little sublimity and a little transcendence to your minds and to your day.
A little.
If we keep on doing this, we'll be in a proper mode, you know, for some sublime time on Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Please continue, friends, to come to your. I promise you that everything you do in recognition of the high holy days will be so much richer for every single program you go to. Sandra, Rabbi Amy, and then the meditations have been breathtaking. So there'll be more details coming out for our own Days of Awe programming. The process is that there's one overarching passport that ClassPass members do need to purchase, but it is at a discount compared to non-ClassPass holders. If you choose, you can only sign up for the a la carte programming, which is all price modified for people who have ClassPass, and it's greater for visitors. So thank you for being ClassPass supporters, and hopefully the Days of Awe passport will work for you. It includes Shabbat, it includes Dr. Sandra's address to the community, includes High Holy Day meditations and melodies with Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi David, and Laura, and that's at 4 o'clock, Rosh Hashanah Day 1, Rosh Hashanah Day 2, and Yom Kippur, because we want all of us to be able to be with our synagogue, or there's so many offerings that are on Facebook and YouTube. So, but we wanted to create a platform where you could be together with your IJKL community, and Rabbi Akiva at, you okay, Rabbi? Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, you'll be getting more and more info. I'll drive you crazy with it. I'm also asking that will each of you be sure that you can sign in as a site member and also be able to register as a ClassPass member. We're attaching badges to your site membership that gives you the privileges of ClassPass. If you're not able to get in and do a registration, test it that way. I'm yammering. Thank you all so much. We'll see you at Sandra's and Rabbi Amy's, and then back again on Monday. And that's it. I've got to stop talking.